News Talk 760 WJR is proud to present Women Who Lead. Profiling great women impacting the Great Lakes with WJR's Ann Thomas.
Hi everyone, welcome to Women Who Lead. My guest today is Marian Battersby. She is the president and franchise owner of Homestead Senior Care in Grosse Pointe, and it's also located in southeast Macomb County. Marian, start out by telling me a little bit about this business and where it is and what exactly do you do?
Okay. Ann, we are a network of over 750 franchises. Homestead Senior Care, it was founded in 1994, so we're one of the oldest. We're in 12 countries now.
Wow.
And the organization is, we're all independently owned and operated franchises. We are a non-medical company that provides services for seniors, and that could be in their homes, in an assisted living, a nursing center, giving an assist in a hospital environment as well. What we do is we provide non-medical services. We do personal care, which is becoming a big part of every job that we do now, because seniors want to age in their homes if at all possible. We also can do medication reminders, some household chores like light housekeeping, incidental transportation. Perhaps you have a child that lives out of state or out of the area. Mom and dad needs to get to the doctors, so we can get them back and forth. We can provide meal preparation. A lot of the seniors are in their homes or by themselves. They're not necessarily eating as well as they should be. And a big key is companionship. A lot of people really flower once we get in there, and they have somebody that they can actually speak to.
So how does this work? If I have an aging parent who I determine needs help, what do I do?
Well, you can call one of the franchise offices. We have 10 in southeast Michigan. We also have a website, www.homeinstead.com, and by putting in a zip code, they'll direct you to the nearest office. And then call the office, tell them what your concerns are. If we have certain questions that we ask, is your parent ambulatory? Is your parent able to take their own medications? Because we are a non-medical company, and we have to stay within certain guidelines.
And so the goal of your company is to try to keep these seniors as long as possible in their homes and living somewhat independently, but with a little bit of assistance.
Right. I mean, it's a brand promise that we want to assist, stimulate, and encourage seniors to live more independent lives for as long as they can. Sometimes that might be just 3 hours a week. Sometimes we've worked cases 24/7. Our service agreement is not something that you're signing up for 6 months. Sometimes people just need a couple weeks after they're discharged from a hospital environment to get back on their feet. We are willing to work with anybody.
Now, it's a great concept. What made you decide to get involved in doing this? You have not always done this in the past, and it's kind of a new thing for you. What drew you to this idea?
Well, basically, it was the care of our parents. We had been through that. We know how stressful it can be on a family. I'm one of 7 daughters, and my dad is ill right now, and we are struggling just to get that care taken care of. So you know how quickly families can reach a crisis situation. So when we saw this opportunity, it just seemed like it was calling to us. As a matter of fact, our corporate name is Mish Incorporated, not meaning Michigan. It's Mary, Ivor, Chris, and Helen, and those are the names of our parents, and we do that in honor of them.
Oh, that's a great story. Now, talk to me a little bit about the whole idea of A, our parents accepting help, and B, us as the children realizing that we need to get help for our parents. Both can be really tough for some families. I know that you have something out there that your company offers to people to get the conversation started. Talk a little bit about that.
Okay. Yes, the beautiful thing about having such a wonderful network of in the organizations is they provide us with a lot of information. We recently were given books called the 40-70 rule, And they've also just recently expanded it, called the 70-40 rule. What it is why 40-70? At that time, after research that Homestead did in conjunction with Jake Harwood, who is a communications expert out in Arizona, they interviewed 1,500 baby boomers in Canada and the U.S., and they found that the biggest problem for almost a third is that the children could not communicate with the parents because they were still in that parent-child relationship. Mm-hmm. And so they established 40-70 because at age 40, the child should start observing what's going on. And they've had enough life experiences where they know their parents are aging and they're accepting of that situation. And 70 is also a good time for a parent because they've also had life experiences. They've perhaps lost friends, loved ones. They're now starting to think about their aging issues themselves, and they're starting to think about what plans they need to make. So that's a good time to start talking before it gets to be a crisis situation. A lot of times the calls that we get are crisis calls.
Help! We're way past where we should be.
Exactly. Mom's being discharged tomorrow and I need 24/7 care. Our goal with this booklet is to ease that burden and get people talking about these issues in a humorous, non-threatening manner before it gets to be a crisis.
What are the biggest issues that we as children of aging parents really need to think about right now when we do sit down to talk to our parents?
Probably the big two that baby boomers are encountering, and they have difficulty doing that. About 42% of them don't know how to speak to their parents about having to leave their home. Mm-hmm. That's a huge issue because they don't want to leave their home. They want to age in place.
They've been there for a long time.
Exactly.
It's a very tough decision.
Right, and about 32% of them, loss of driving privileges. Again, each time you address those situations, the parent is losing some measure of control.
How do you do that? That, to me, seems like such a difficult thing to say to a parent, Mom, Dad, you really shouldn't be driving. What's the smartest way to handle that?
Well, the smartest way is, say that you got a call that said your dad backed a car into a light pole. Was that only one incident? Because we've had fender benders between family members in our own house.
Sure.
Or is it time that you maybe took a drive with Dad and, said, okay, has he obviously got some deficits here? And it might be just a matter of restricting when your father or your mother is driving. You always want to use if, not when. If this happens, what is your game plan going to be? You want to try and preserve their independence, maximize their strengths while making changes that will allow for their weaknesses to be addressed as well.
Now, going back to talking about when to stay in the home and when to leave the home, is it smart to really try to push that as long as possible to keep your parents in their own homes? Is there research out there that shows, they do better if we can keep them home as long as possible and use a company like Homestead?
I think it's by case. There are some people that you will never want to see. We had a person that signed up to be in assisted living twice, and they all the furniture was ordered and they canceled it, and they're home at their home again. I think it depends on what the wishes are of the family. We do tell our caregivers that you are the eyes and ears in our seniors' homes, and there are going to be declines, and you have to be aware of that. We also do quality assurance visits, so we're checking in with that client as well to find out what their needs are.
Tell people how they can get this pamphlet.
Okay. We do have a website. It's called 4070.com. It does have an opportunity for a visitor to assess their own communication skills with their parents, and it directs them to other agencies and as well as Homestead where they could seek help.
And if they would like some advice from you and they would like to talk to you, do you have a phone number that they can use?
Sure. We're located in Grosse Pointe. We're in one of 10 offices, but our number there is 313-647-9682, and we're always happy to talk to anybody that gives us a call.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Ann.
You've been listening to Women Who Lead with Ann Thomas. For more interviews and podcasts, visit WJR.com.